We are Blackmore. We are Florida.
That showdown in Gotham, an afternoon tilt at Citi Field. End of a four-game series, lopsided in favor of the Mets, who have won all three. Bark at the park. Well, that's just getting things going. Now, that's creative. The main attraction, though, the Dark Knight of Gotham. Matt Harvey takes center stage. Tom Kohler for the fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hunt. Everybody buzzing about this Harvey start. But the backstory here is that the Marlins can't stop their backslide.
Well, I'll tell you what, stranger things have happened in the city of Gotham. And if you're going to come out of a funk, you might as well do it against one of the best.
This city really has embraced this pitcher, and he's kind of embracing everyone, this whole Dark Knight. So I guess out of the Batcave and onto the mound. Matt Harvey looks as good as new after his Tommy John surgery.
Well, he does, and if you talk to people who've seen him pitch his first couple of starts this year, they say, if anything, he might be a little bit better. He's got great mechanics. This year in his 12 innings, he has 17 strikeouts and just one walk. He did give up a couple of home runs in his last outing. Chase Utley, Cody Ashe, a couple of left-handers took him deep. But the Marlins will attack one of the best.
If you ask any National League starter who would want this assignment, Tom Kohler would put that right hand up and say, give it to me. He loves pitching in his hometown.
Well, he's got a lot of support here. Family, Stony Brook, New Rochelle. He's got it all. And remember, a couple of years ago in August, he beat Matt Harvey. He went 6 shutout innings against the New York Mets.
So, for the Marlins, it's a game they really would like to have before they get to Philly. For the Mets, they want to stay on a roll. Sunday Fun Day. Jessica Blaylock is in and around Citi Field for a Matt Harvey, Tom Kohler matchup. Great stuff. The kids have got their Batman masks on, ready to go. Jessica Blaylock is here, getting ready to tour Citi Field.
That's right, Rich. There is no doubt that we love Marlins Park. It is absolutely beautiful. But one of the things that we want to do as we travel to these different ballparks around the country is give you an inside look. So today, I'm going to be taking you all around Citi Field. It's my first road trip, so I wanted to do a little bit of exploring. We're going to stay inside the ballpark. We're going to go outside the ballpark. I'm going to show you all of the cool places here at Citi Field that you need to know about. So be sure to stick around for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Rich, Tommy, I might even come up and visit the booth with a special surprise for the two of you.
We love surprises. This one in Gotham has gone all to the Mets. Today, the Marlins' last chance for a win, and they face the Dark Knight in Matt Harvey. Is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. New York City, a little cool today, mid-50s with somewhat of a breeze. Full house expected. They had a sellout last night. Jacob deGrom was dynamite. A little bark at the park action here as well. And Matt Harvey takes the hill for the Mets. He's been dominant since coming back from Tommy John surgery. And this is the Marlin lineup that will go at him today. JM Lexus brings it to you. How about D. Gordon on this trip? How about D. Gordon right now, third in the National League in hitting at 400. Tough trip for Christian Yelich. Giancarlo Stanton is in right. Martin Prado has had a nice series. He's at third. Michael Morse homered last night. He's at first base. Marcelo Zuna in center. Back in for his third start of this four-game set is JT Real Muto behind the plate. Adeiny Echeverria, couple hits last night. Tom Kohler in the 9 spot.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, Rich, as you look at Matt Harvey, the 26-year-old right-hander, coming back from Tommy John. It's been well documented. He did not pitch last year. He's faced the Marlins 4 times, all in 2013. He does not have a win. He's 0-1. Got some no decisions. His ERA is 3.52. One of the impressive things when you look at his numbers this year in his 2 starts, 2-0 is his record. He's thrown 12 innings. He has 17 strikeouts and just 1 walk. So you know that this guy who has a tremendous slider, he's got a live fastball, you know he's going to be around the plate. There's a look at the defense behind Matt Harvey. Some changes for Terry Collins today. Kirk Neuenhuis gets the start in left field. Lagares, the Gold Glover, and Granderson is in right. Eric Campbell and Tejada. Tejada gets the start at shortstop. Daniel Murphy, Lucas Duda, and Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate.
Defense brought to you by BMW. Harvey this year in the 2 starts has a whip of 0.83. That's walks and hits per innings pitched. That's really good. He's made just 38 starts in his career, but what a 38 start career it's been. He has the 2nd best whip, walks and hits and innings pitched, of any pitcher since 1921 through their first 38 career starts. Vida Blue is the only pitcher with a better whip in 38 starts to start a career. Back on August 1st, 2013, of course, Harvey missed last year with Tommy John, but this was a showdown in Miami. Harvey against Tom Kohler.
Well, you see the outing for Harvey. Tom Kohler was outstanding. In that game, Harvey 5 2/3 gave up 5 hits and 3 runs. Tom Kohler was outstanding. 5 shutout innings, 6 shutout innings, and he matched him per inning. So we got the same matchup here this afternoon, and you're right. If there's any guy in that staff, on the Marlins staff, that wants to take on Matt Harvey, it's Tom Kohler.
D. Gordon stands in. Fastball, strike 1, and we're underway. D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, and Giancarlo Stanton. Pinch a penny bringing you the first pitch. Harvey has not beaten the Marlins. This is his 5th career start against them. Gordon sends it to right field. Granderson is there, and he makes the catch.
Well, what a night for D. Gordon last night. 5-hit game. The amazing thing that I read today, the last Marlin to have a 5-hit game, Giancarlo Stanton, 2010.
Now Yelich, 4 for his last 24, and Harvey catches the outside corner. Sean Barber calling balls and strikes. That one right on the edge. Harvey goes right back out there. His control has been impeccable in 2 starts, just the 1 walk. And he's working off the plate right now. Pumps it up at 96 miles an hour.
We talked about the frustrations from Christian Yelich last night. Stanton, a rough night. Yelich, for the first time in his career, struck out 4 times.
Wow, that looked like a pretty good pitch. The first one was borderline, but that one looked pretty good. That's a strike. It caught plenty of the plate, and it was knee high. A break for Yelich, and he goes down on a 97-mile-an-hour heater. Harvey's not messing around. It's not something he does. He goes right to work. He's very aggressive.
One of the encouraging things when you hear people talk about his mechanics and his recovery from Tommy John surgery, the same is said about Jose Fernandez. Tremendous mechanics, which helps that process in the recovery.
Stanton takes a strike. It's 0-1. Stanton against Harvey in his career 0 for 6 with a couple strikeouts, and he waves at a slider. It's 0-2. Crowd is into it already. Wow. Matt Harvey carves up Miami in the first inning. Tom Kohler gets the ball. Scoreless. The Dark Knight has his own logo on the bats. JM Lexus presents the Mets lineup. Curtis Granderson, Travis d'Arnaud, Lucas Duda. Eric Campbell has earned that promotion to the cleanup spot. Daniel Murphy, Juan Legatus. Kirk Neuenhuis to start in left. And Ruben Tejada gets his first start of the series at short. And Harvey will use those customized bats in the 9 spot. Now it's Tom Kohler, Curtis Granderson, Travis d'Arnaud, and Lucas Duda. Kohler opens with a fastball for a strike. Granderson's such a curious player statistically right now. He's 5 for 38, hitting a .132, but he leads all of baseball in walks. He's walked 11 times.
Well, he's had a rough series. He's 0 for 11 in this series, but that hasn't stopped the Mets.
Nothing can stop the Mets right now. To right, Stanton makes the catch.
All right, here's the Marlins defensively this afternoon. Bright sunny day here at Citi Field. Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. Prado and Echeverria, D. Gordon and Michael Morse, and JT Realmuto behind the plate.
Brought to you by BMW. Travis d'Arnaud. Lucas Duda right behind. Bouncer, fair. Prado loads up and makes the throw. And d'Arnaud is out number 2. Kohler working quickly. How hot are the Mets? They've won 7 in a row. They're 9-3, which is the best record in the National League. And at home, they've gone 6-0 for the first time since 1985.
Oh, and by the way, this year in day games, they're 4-0. But you know what? I really do think Tom Kohler gets up in particular for these games against the Mets and against a guy like Matt Harvey.
Well, an ERA in the mid-2s in 9 starts against the Mets. Lucas Duda is having quite a year. He had a really nice year last year that in some parts went unnoticed. But for him, it was really a breakout. Ike Davis was finally dealt. And Duda flourished, hitting 30 home runs. He's hit in 5 straight. He's driven in 8. His average sits at 370.
We talked about Kohler beating Harvey in August of 2013. He had a no decision against the Mets last year. Kohler went 8 shutout innings.
Shift is on. It's right on.
Settle in.
D. Gordon from shallow right. 3 up, 3 down for Tom Kohler. Scoreless. Red hot, the Marlins are not. The Fish come in at just 3-9. 3 games with the Phillies await, starting on Tuesday night before this road trip is done. All right, Tommy Hunt, what you got on Matt Harvey?
Well, we have talked about his stuff, big time stuff. No question with that. Some have said the slider is Carlton-esque. We'll talk a little bit more about Steve Carlton's slider, and he's a pretty good hitter, Matt Harvey.
Martin Prado rips one into left field. The Marlins have a hit and a runner, a leadoff single here in the second. For Prado, he's 2 for 7 in his career now against Harvey. There are guys in this lineup that haven't seen Harvey.
Well, you got that pitch up, and you see a mistake pitch. You have to be aggressive against a guy like Harvey, who's going to be in the strike zone.
One of the guys in the lineup that doesn't have experience against Harvey is Michael Morse. Prado's at first, Morse at the plate. Morse hit his second home run of the season. In the 9th inning last night, Miami was down 5-1. They rallied and got 3 runs. Pitch is out, and it's 2-0. This was last night, his second homer of the road trip.
Good to see Michael Morse with that power.
Check swing on the 2-0, and it's 2-1.
Would imagine a lot of pitchers, and especially if you have the stuff that Harvey has, will pitch Morse similar to the way they pitch Giancarlo. Pound him hard inside and then go away with sliders. Be interesting to see how the Mets handle Harvey. His first start this year, he threw 91 pitches. His second start, he threw 95.
Morse a little tapper up to third. Campbell across the diamond due to catch and tag. Prado in scoring position, and there's one out.
Tell you what, Eric Campbell's done a nice job for a guy who's kind of had the reputation of maybe being a little more of a hitter and just a guy you can put at the corners. He's done a nice job defensively at third base in this series.
And with the bat as well, since stepping in for David Wright. Here's Marcell Ozuna. It was a rough ride for Ozuna until the 7th inning last night. He had a hit in the 7th and a hit in the 9th, which is a good sign for, at the time, a struggling hitter going into the ball game.
That pitch I think you have to be aggressive on. Ozuna, a little success against Matt Harvey. A lot of small sample sizes, and of course none of that from last year.
Ozuna into left field, a base hit. Prado to third, up with the ball, Neuenhuis. He's held. The throw is cut. And Miami has runners at the corners. Here comes Real Muto.
We talked about Harvey and the slider and how he has a good one. This one just kind of was flat. Hard to tell, slider or changeup, but I think slider, the way it came out of the hand. It didn't do a whole lot, and Ozuna got a good swing on it, and that's what you have to do.
Now Real Muto, the rookie catcher who was 3 for 11 since being called up. Strike one. Handful of games last year, has not homered in the big leagues, but has swung the bat with authority. 2 of his 3 hits have been doubles.
And he's gotten robbed a couple of times too.
Check swing, didn't go. It's a ball and a strike.
Robbed by Granderson, robbed by Lagares.
Martin Prado at third. Marcelo Zuna at first. 1 out, second inning. And a breaking ball for a strike.
That was more of the curveball from Matt Harvey. Good pitch to hit, just locked him up and fooled him.
One-two ground ball. Campbell out there. The turn safe, and the Marlins get a run. Real Muto, a high school quarterback and an infielder in high school as well, is very athletic, and he busts it down the line, and his hustle gives Miami a 1-0 lead. The Mets are going to come out, and Terry Collins is going to challenge.
We have had some very interesting challenges in this series. I love the way Real Muto runs straight through the bag, doesn't take.
Back of the glove. Wow, that's close.
But I think he's there. You can see the ball hit the back of the glove as he's already on the bag.
Remember, the Mets challenged last night on the very first hitter and lost it, and thus lost their challenge. Chrysler bringing you this challenge.
And the Marlins are perfect on challenges this series.
Marlins were second best in all of baseball on challenges last year. And again, the term back of the glove, Major League Baseball last year specified on force plays when the ball hits the back of the glove, he's safe. And again, it's the back of the glove. And so the Mets, amazingly, no pun intended, lose a challenge early in the ball game, much like they did last night.
So the safe call stands thanks to the speed of Real Muto getting up the line.
You can see the back of the glove, the ball popped through the webbing of the glove. The call stands. Throw to first. That's the word that we've received, and that means not enough evidence to overturn the call, but then again, not enough evidence to confirm the call. So here's Echeverria. Miami's off to a 1-0 start against Matt Harvey.
Well, that's all the good news. The call stands, and the Marlins take a 1-0 lead.
The Mets are doing everything right this year except challenges. That's about it. Echeverria got jammed. It's Ruben Tejada at short, and he whips her across in time. But Miami's on the board. JT Real Muto, his first RBI of the season. It's 1-0. replays and challenges across the country, you've got to turn your eyes on New York. Here in New York, there were 3 challenges that all went the Marlins' way last night.
Well, the first 2 involved D. Gordon on this close play at first base.
And then back of the glove came into play here.
Chopper to short. Was it in the back of the glove? Yeah, he was safe. So again, the first 2 involving D. Gordon. And then this throw looked like it pulled Michael Morse off the bag.
Since the Marlins got their first challenge right, they were able to hang on to it and use it. And they were right there. So now Tom Kohler has a 1-0 lead. He goes after Eric Campbell, Daniel Murphy, and Juan Lagares. And the Mets, once again, without their challenge moving forward. Once it gets to the 7th, it's umpire discretion. 1-2 to Campbell, as Tommy pointed out. Campbell, filling in for David Wright, has been a very nice addition. In fact, without Wright, and it's a small sample size, it's only 4 games. The Mets 22 runs in those 4 games. Everybody else has certainly picked up the slack.
Well, Campbell 3 for 8 with 3 RBIs in this series.
Gets into that one, hits it well right field. Stanton back, track, makes the catch. 1 out. Marlins.com, your one-stop shop for breaking news, tickets, sweepstakes, merchandise, and more. Sign up for free Marlins email and text alerts. You can receive year-round Marlins coverage, offers, discounts, and more. Go to Marlins.com and become an insider today. Wait for it. Yeah. Super slow-mo during batting practice in spring training. Here is Daniel Murphy. Juan Lagares up next. Murphy 2 for 12 in the series. Kohler, as he always does, working quick. The count now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Boy, just a solid year last year for Tom Kohler. Gave the Marlins 32 starts, 10 wins.
Comebacker, Kohler smothers it and gets the out.
Just under 200 innings. And he's a guy that you and I have talked about a lot. 18th round draft pick, worked his way through the organization, always having to prove himself. Had a 16-2 season 1 year in Double-A. And he's also been able to keep himself healthy.
Here is Lagares, who has been a star defensively in the series and also added 4 hits. 6-game hitting streak, 8 for 22 in that span. As we discussed earlier in the series, if he can duplicate his numbers spread out over 162 games offensively, the Mets will really have something, because they've got a special defender in center field with him right now.
Yeah, you talk to scouts around baseball, arguably the best center fielder in the game.
There's some pretty good ones in the game right now.
Yeah, there are. We talked about a guy who's really helped him too, a guy with Milwaukee, a good friend of his, Carlos Gomez.
Morse has it. Kohler perfect through 2, and the Marlins a 1-0 lead in New York. Bring you straight to Marlins Park. To book this luxury motor coach for your group, call 305-480-2523 or email groups@marlins.com. Little old school.
I think
that is.
I think that's Justin the intern.
Justin the intern. Justin Shanis working with Major League Baseball. He's helping install the super duper, I guess, camera that captures all the motion for StatCast. StatCast, if you've watched MLB Network or go online to MLB.com, is just starting to make its way onto telecasts across baseball.
Justin has moved up in the world.
We always knew there was potential.
There was potential.
Yes. Tom Kohler, ladies and gentlemen, into center field. The best hitter in the family is not Tom, it's his wife, who is a college softball player, but she'll be proud of that swing.
Well, Rolf, his dad, happy with it. Ashley at home, his wife, happy with it. I know it's something that Tom's worked on too. He actually, in spring training, he set a goal. He wanted to get more hits this year than he did last year. That was a nice swing.
He's 2 for 2 against Harvey.
He owns it.
Well, don't go that far. Now Gordon with Kohler at first. Gordon takes a strike. You've got Yelich and Stanton to follow. 2 really cold hitters. They both struck out. Gordon flied to right. High pop and a long run, and it's into the seats. Quickly, it's 0-2. Harvey 2 strikeouts. He's not walked anyone. In fact, he's walked just 1 hitter. This is his 3rd start of the season. 0-2. Down goes Gordon. Well, for the Marlins right now, one of the mysteries is Christian Yelich. He was 1 for 5 last night with 4 strikeouts. And he struck out his first at bat here. Stanton last night struck out 3 times. And he struck out following Yelich. And that's the pitch that's giving Yelich problems.
That high heat, they're strikes, they're borderline, but he just keeps swinging through it. I think he's pressing a little bit. Once he gets through that and gets a couple of hits, he'll be just fine. He's too good a hitter.
It's just straight heat, 96 miles an hour. See if you can hit it. And right now, Yelich can't, which is really surprising, having watched him for a year and a half. Higher heat, and it's 1-2. Yelich, little dribbler out towards short. Mets are going to get 1, and that's it. You talked about the Mets trying to protect Harvey in terms of pitch count. One of the things the Mets have planned to do is go to a 6-man rotation, and that would spread his workload out. And for Terry Collins, he's hopeful that not only are the Mets in contention in late September, but obviously he'd like to have Harvey at his disposal, and that's one way to get him.
That's why they sent Rafael Montero down to the minor leagues to get a couple of starts under his belt, bring him back up, and then he would be part of that 6-man rotation.
Harvey throws to first, and Yelich is back. Really haven't seen Yelich in the running game much this year. Breaking ball misses outside.
I thought of something when I saw that play that I haven't seen in a long time. Remember in the years in the 80s when Vince Coleman was stealing 100 bases? if that situation took place and Vince Coleman or Christian Yelich, they would have thrown Coleman out at first, left Kohler at second, because they figured Coleman's going to steal the bag anyway. So who would you rather have at second, Coleman or the pitcher?
Yelich has one stolen base. Now, some would say he's not running because he's in front of Stanton, but at this point, the way Stanton is swinging it, you'd almost rather have Yelich try to steal the base, because I don't think Harvey's going to pitch around Stanton. I think he's going right after him. Stanton flinching.
No flinch on that slider.
And it's 1-2.
He's done that to a few hitters. It's a high slider, and he got away with it. See if he goes in with that hard fastball the way he did last time.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. Harvey strikes out Stanton for the second time. Yelich left on base, headed to the bottom of the third, and it's 1-0 Miami. Only a few seats remain in two incredible full season ticket areas. The Jose Heroes plan is just $6 a game, or the $15 per seat area, which includes a free Marlins jersey. Seating extremely limited in both of these popular fan programs. So go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Call 1-877-MARLINS.
I would imagine, Rich, that Jose might be tuning into this one, watching Harvey, maybe getting a little antsy. We hope that rehab continues to go well.
Kirk Neuenhuis, Ruben Tejada, and then Matt Harvey against Tom Kohler, who has retired all 6 that he's faced. Neuenhuis lifts that one to center. Ozuna fighting the sun and the winds. And looking at it sideways, makes the catch.
It's always the best way, if you are battling that sunshine, kind of turn your body at an angle, helps out a little bit. Yeah.
He's getting it from D. Gordon right now. Fairly bright day here in New York. Marlins have finally been able to get Wilmer Flores out. It's out of the lineup. He gets the day off. Ruben Tejada is in. Flores absolutely clobbering the Marlins. 2 home runs in this series. A 1-hopper. Echeverria straightens up and gets the out.
And Remember, Flores had that 2-homer game last year. So he said in a brief career, he's already hit 4 home runs against the Marlins.
And here is Harvey. We showed you the bats. He's got the cool Harvey Batman logo on the bottom of many of his bats.
Well, he has, in reading about Matt Harvey, certainly embraced Manhattan and the area.
And they are embracing him.
Yes, they are.
With the whole Dark Knight of Gotham theme. Out all of last year. Kohler's 1-1. And Harvey pops it up. Gordon out. Ozuna again. A little bit of a sideways zigzag to make the catch. He ran just like the outfield grass is cut with a zigzag. Toyota Trend. The elusive Terry Collins. Our Toyota Trend 4-game sweeps. Mets have never swept a 4-game series from the Marlins. The last time they swept at home was against the Pirates in a 4-game series. That was back in 2010. Matt Harvey back on the hill. Martin Prado opened up the second inning with a line drive single to left, and he would score the only run of the game. JT Real Muto fielder's choice. Prado 5 hits, 13 at bats in this series.
It's been good to see Martin Prado the last week or so swing the bat the way we know he can.
Travis d'Arnaud and running catch.
That's a nice play. That's not easy. You've got the sun to battle, you have the distance, and you have all that equipment. d'Arnaud with a good play. He went a long way to get there.
One out. Michael Morse coming up. Off day tomorrow for both the Marlins and the Mets. The Marlins, of course, in Philly on Tuesday night. The Mets stay home and the Braves arrive. Jonathan Neese, Trevor Cahill in that ball game. Morse lifts it. Granderson went back. Now he comes in. and makes the catch.
So the Braves are up in Toronto right now with an early 3-0 lead thanks to a big base hit, a double by Johnny Gomes.
South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for the Tuesday night game. Jessica Blaylock will host the pregame show live from Philly. She will tangle with the Fanatic for the first time on an email Twitter Tuesday.
Have we warned Jessica about the Fanatic?
No, it's more fun that way. Dan Herron for the Marlins and Jerome Williams for the Phillies. Ozuna with 2 outs. It's a fastball for a strike.
You know, as I look down in front of us at the club level, I'm seeing kind of a changing of the guards jersey. A couple of guys sitting in the same row. One has a Harvey jersey, the other a Seaver jersey.
One and 2. Struck him out. Slider. Ozuna didn't like it. John Barber rings him up, and Harvey goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the 4th. But Miami has a 1-0 lead here in New York.
See Citi Field behind me. Construction began on this ballpark in 2006 and it ended in 2009. And one of the things that the architects wanted to do was pay tribute to Old Shea Stadium. So they took the original bases, put them in their original location, including home plate. And what's cool about this is that it's located in the parking lot, so fans can take a picture, they can run the bases. Just a really cool tribute to Old Shea Stadium. Rich, up to you.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Tommy Hutton, you spent many days at Shea as a player and as a broadcaster. Curtis Granderson against Tom Kohler. Good sharp curveball for a strike. It's 1-1.
You know what? I enjoyed them all. Fun playing against the Mets. Shea was fun to. The booth maybe not was the best, but it was always a lot of excitement in the air.
Of course, we were there the last day of Shea, and we talked about that game. And for many of the players, they gave them artifacts of Shea Stadium just as the pieces they could take back to their home and remember Shea by. The 1-2 pitch lined into center field, and it falls for a hit. And Granderson is aboard. Tommy Hutton, in a ceremony that was not viewed by many, was given a roll of duct tape for as many days in the booth at Shea Stadium.
The duct tape was good, and the piece of metal that I used to bang my knee on, they gave me a piece of that too. First hit of the series, by the way, for Granderson.
Now let's see how working from the stretch affects Kohler here. It's the first time he's had to do it. He's got Travis d'Arnaud, who's had a real nice start to his season, and then Lucas Duda, who's been swinging a hot bat as well. And Granderson away from first. Kohler steps off.
just 8 stolen bases for Granderson last year, but he had a couple of 2-3 years where he was a 20+ stolen base guy.
Oh, 1 into left. That's a base hit, and the Mets have runners first and second. A pair of hits to open up this 4th inning. Second time through for the Mets against Tom Cole.
Well, second time through, plus the breaking ball to d'Arnaud wasn't as sharp as Tom wanted it. Kind of hung out over the plate, and d'Arnaud has been a hot hitter. Tougher now with men on base to put the complete shift on with Lucas Duda up there.
See Duda's numbers with runners in scoring position. He's in the top 10 in slugging percentage in the National League. He's 5th in batting average. Kohler with a count 1-0. He's not had a lot of success against Kohler though. 2 for 20. Good in fastball that got in on it. It's a ball and a strike.
See the stuff that Tom Kohler features. His fastball 93, 95. Some sliders, some curveballs. Occasionally a changeup. And always a good battle. Fastball up. Saw the little flick of the glove by Real Muto after he gave the sign. He wanted that fastball up.
Some catchers will be very much in a stealth mode, especially with a runner at second. Some catchers that let everybody in the ballpark know when they'll raise the glove and actually come up out of the crouch. I've also seen, and this takes some communication with the pitcher in a 2-strike situation, the catcher put the glove up, start to come out of the crouch, and then pop back down for a breaking ball when the bench has told the hitter it's a high fastball.
Yeah, or if the runner at second base maybe tips him off a little bit.
2-2 coming. And now Kohler's gone full at 3-2.
I don't know if Terry Collins will have his runners going because Duda is susceptible to the strikeout. But we'll see.
Marlins infield not as shifted as they usually are because of the base runners. They hold, and Duda lifts one foul. Prado. That's 10 rows in. His father, New Rochelle, New York, home of Tom Kohler. Three-2 again. Lost him. Bags loaded. Here comes Campbell. And there's nobody out.
Well, they'd gone with fastball a few pitches. Missed with a couple. Got the foul ball. And then came back with what looked like a curveball but hung it up high.
You see it often when a pitcher faces an ace like Harvey or even Jose Fernandez for Miami. The opposing pitcher tries to do a little too much and try to be picture perfect, and you just can't. Scott Wright telecast presented by the authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Well, the Marlin middle infielders are going to be back looking for a double play ball. They will give up an out for a shot at 2 to try to prevent a big inning. Prado's going to back up at third, and so is Morse at first. So everybody's back. Campbell takes a strike. It's 0-1. Kohler does not have a strikeout in the game. Good pitch. Up and in, and he's 0-2 now on Eric Campbell.
Nice to see a pitcher hit the spot. Watch JT Realmuto in. He flicks the glove in, he shifts in, and the fastball tails in.
Where he goes here. 0-2 pitch. Got him on a swing in the dirt, and Realmuto did a nice job of blocking that ball. That's an enormous strikeout. The Marlins were essentially giving the Mets a run on any contact past the pitcher.
Well, got ahead quickly, and they said, all right, see if you chase this breaking ball, and look at how Realmuto smothers it. Gets down, lets the body block it, and picks up a huge strikeout, his first of the game.
Now a ground ball can get Kohler out of this if Miami can turn it. Daniel Murphy. It's a strike. See his career numbers with the bags loaded. Murphy, strangely, is off to a cold start, but as Tommy pointed out, injured near the end of spring training. Foul back, and it's 0-2.
You just have the feeling that down the road, when you see Daniel Murphy, he'll be back there where he usually is, around 290.
He is a terrific contact hitter. He has struck out just twice in 42 at bats. 0-2. That's a hi, how are you fastball. With Murphy trying to protect the outside part, he had to limbo out of the way.
That's okay. That's a good pitch. We saw Harvey back up Stanton with a slider that had him flinch a little bit.
In the right, it's a base hit. One run will score. Darno will be stopped. Stanton's throw is cut, and the Mets have tied it at 1. Daniel Murphy.
Curveball, not a bad pitch, but Murphy, pretty good hitter, and he finds that hole on the right side. Maybe wasn't in enough, maybe wasn't down as much as Kohler wanted. But the Mets tie it on Murphy's base hit.
Now Legatus, who is popped out. His second at bat against Kohler. Ball and a strike, in and out. 22 pitches already this inning.
And look at those first 3 innings. He was very efficient.
His dad, Rolf. A lot of family members in from New Rochelle to watch Kohler. He's behind the Mets center fielder. 2-1. Missed badly, and it's 3-1. A drive in to right, and Lagares has given New York a 2-1 lead.
And all of a sudden, the location isn't there for Kohler in this inning. A high fastball. This is where, if you're Tom Kohler, boy, you want to just shut it down right here. You're having a bad inning, but shut it down, make that be your only bad inning, and hopefully your offense can come back. But the Mets have put together all 4 of their hits in this inning.
Now Nieuwenhuis, who flied to center back in the 3rd. Nieuwenhuis can run a little bit.
Tough guy to double up.
Middle infield back for 2. Corners even. And Kohler right now is out of sorts.
Well, it's the struggle has been he's fallen behind. He hasn't gotten ahead in this inning, and he's made mistakes with some pitches as well. Not a good combination, and you see the number of pitches he's thrown.
Prado for a visit, now Real Muto for a visit, and Sam Dyson in the bullpen, who's been worked hard. Marlins have used him a lot. He's pitched well.
He did get last night off.
There's a day off tomorrow.
Back warming up now.
Tom Kohler having trouble finding the plate. And he lost him. The ball goes all the way to the screen. The run will score. And the Mets now have a 3-1 lead. It almost looked like Prado was trying to get Kohler back into rhythm, was talking about the rhythm that he was working in. And as we noted, when Granderson got on, working from the stretch for the first time, and for whatever reason, maybe it's that, maybe it's just that he's flat here in the 4th.
Sometimes it affects a pitcher, sometimes not. Pitchers, if they go a few innings from the windup, they'll, in between when they take their warm-up tosses, they'll take some from the stretch.
Bases loaded walk. 4 hits, 2 walks in the inning. Bags are loaded. 3-1 Mets. And a tapper is foul. It's 0-1. Ruben Tejada bounced to short back in the 3rd. Bases filled with Mets. Murphy, Lagares, and Nieuwenhuis. Two. Slow.
Close, a pretty good take by Tejada, too.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch count is rocketing up right now.
Wow, 33 pitches in this inning.
27 in the first 3 innings combined. 2-2. Left center, it's hit pretty well. Ozuna on the run, and Yelich can't get it. It goes to the wall. Scoring is Murphy, scoring is Lagares. Nieuwenhuis is in, and the Mets have cracked it open. And it's Ruben Tejada, of all people, to do it.
Well, they got Flores out of the lineup, and Ruben Tejada comes through with a big hit today, clearing the bases with a double. And you're right, the Mets have totally opened it up. Little miscommunication here. It looks like Ozuna kind of backs off. I don't think he would have gotten there, and then it was just out of the reach of Yelich. Boy, and that's going to be it for Tom Kohler. Wow, it happened fast.
He retired the first 9 he faced. He's retired just 1 here in the 4th. The 9th hitter he would have faced, Matt Harvey, is left standing at home plate. West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. The Mets all of a sudden up 6-1. Dyson arrives for his 7th appearance. For the Marlins, this is game number 13. Tom Kohler retiring the first 9. And then the Mets on the verge of batting around here in the 4th. They did it with the 4 singles, 2 walks, 1 with the bases loaded, and then the 3-run double by Ruben Tejada. Here is Harvey with 1 out and a runner at second to face Dyson, the South Carolina Gamecock. Harvey into center. Ozuna has it and holds it. Nice play by Ozuna. Harvey with solid contact. And here is Granderson, who started it with his first hit in 13 at bats in the series when he singled to open the inning.
We're going into yesterday's ball game, last night's game. The Marlins had walked 40, 14 of those had scored. That's the most in the league. No walks scored last night. There was just 1. 2 have scored today. So that's a trend that you certainly want to turn around the other direction.
Anderson takes a strike. It's a trend that has to turn around if Miami wants to contend this year. That one bouncing up to the plate. Sunday is traditionally a day where you take a look at league leaders individually and then teams. And as you look at the pitching in the National League, the Cardinals have a team ERA of 2.00. That's best. The Mets are right on their tail at 2.74. The Marlins are just a tick under 5, and that's last in the National League.
Cardinals seem to do it every year. That's why it seems like every year they're in the playoffs.
Two and two. Dyson appearing in the first two games of the series. He appeared in Atlanta as well. Marlins started the season with two long men in the pen. David Phelps is now part of the rotation. Brad Hand worked last night. So this could be for the Marlins an attempt to try to piece it together with multiple relievers from here on out. Worst nightmare for Mike Redmond.
Boy, the reoccurring nightmare is starters just not getting deep into games and having to wear out that phone to the bullpen. Frustration for Tom Kohler because the first three innings were perfect.
Darno lines it to left. Yelich has it. Tejada scores. 7-1 New York. And this big loud crowd that has come here on a Sunday to see if their baseball team, who has the best record in the National League, can win 8 in a row, are having a fabulous day in the sun.
Last time they won 8 in a row was back in June of 2010. A lot of this crowd came to see Matt Harvey. They're seeing a hot offense.
Want to know to Duda.
You know, when stuff like this happens, it's like the old snowball coming down the mountain. Hard to stop.
Mike Redmond and others with the Marlins have preached that all the Marlins need is to get a win and things would fall into place. Well, they've been able to get a few of them, just 3.
You forget, not too long ago, they finished that Braves series winning the last 2 games of the series.
That slowed the snowball down a little, but
yeah,
it didn't stop it. Duda walked earlier in the inning.
97 on that fastball from Dyson.
And now Brad Hand is up. You got the sense with Dyson that the move from Mike Redmond was just to get him in to finish the inning, get out of the inning. Not that he was going to be in a long time.
Yeah, well, a pitcher spot comes up next inning. So, yeah, he's just going to get out of this inning.
That's the plan. We've got Hand up. Duda swings and misses. And Dyson strikes him out. But the Mets send 12 to the plate, and 7 of them score. today by Checkers. Get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak or try the new meatball sub. Pick yours, 2 for $5. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're going to love us. 7-1. The Mets with a 7-run inning. And they've got Matt Harvey on the mound. So things for the Mets right now are in a very favorable position. Harvey approaches the mound. JT Realmuto, Adeiny Echeverria, pitcher spot, 2 up. Top of the 5th. Second time through, Realmuto drove in Miami's run with a fielder's choice ground ball.
A lot of us forgot that Matt Harvey started the All-Star game in 2013. First Met to start the All-Star game since Doc Gooden, 1988.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
You were mentioning earlier, Rich, the dominance through Harvey's first 38 major league starts. 33 of those, he's allowed no more than 3 runs.
You just mentioned Dwight Gooden. Gooden and Harvey, the only 2 starters in the last 100 years to accomplish that. Little sun out there. Anderson there and makes the catch. Let's take a look at our Geico Major League Baseball moment. Today, this day in history, Nolan Ryan uses just 9 pitches in the 3rd inning to strike out 3 Dodgers.
Claude Osteen, left-handed hitting pitcher. Wes Parker, switch hitter. And Zoyo Versailles.
Wes Parker was a leadoff hitter, huh?
He hit different parts of the lineup. They used him a lot of different parts.
Adeiny Echeverria with a count 0-1. Jacob deGrom was terrific last night. Shallow center. Ligares, who plays a shallow center field to begin with, trots in and makes the catch. deGrom last night, 7 scoreless innings. He's got a nice scoreless streak going right now. He hasn't given up a run in 18 1/3 innings. You've got Harvey, who, if he holds this lead, will go to 3-0. Jonathan Neese has got an ERA of $1.50. Bartolo Colon is 3-0. Donovan Solano pinch hitting.
Right now, that 5-man rotation with better numbers than the Nationals' 5-man rotation.
And the Mets with a better record.
Look at that, no walks last night for deGrom. Guy with decent numbers, small sample size, Donovan Solano pinch hitting.
Solano had a big run scoring hit 2 years ago when it was a Harvey Kohler matchup.
And Solano 3 for 6 in his career against Harvey.
And he goes after an off-speed pitch in the dirt. Matt Harvey has retired now 9 in a row.
Apple debuted at Shea Stadium back in 1981 as part of the Magic is Back campaign for the Mets. It weighs almost 600 pounds and it would pop up every time a Mets player hit a home run. Now they have a new Apple inside Citi Field. It is 4 times as big as the original. It still pops up every time a Mets player hits a home run, so let's hope we don't see that Apple too many times this afternoon.
Well, the Magic is back without the Apple popping up. The Mets with 7 runs in the bottom of the 4th. They chased Tom Kohler. Sam Dyson put out the fire. Brad Hand is in. He gets Eric Campbell, Daniel Murphy, and Juan Lagares. And the Marlins will hope for multiple innings out of Brad Hand.
Yeah, all that damage by the Mets. 5 singles and the 1 Tejada double. Yeah, this is a situation for Brad Hand that he needs to give Mike Redmond some innings. The only little luxury is that tomorrow is an off day.
Campbell 0 for 2. Count 2-2. Atlanta's lead in Toronto is holding up 5-0. As the Braves lead the Blue Jays in that 6th inning. Shelby Miller throwing a shutout right now. Full count. Hand walks. The first man he faces, Eric Campbell. New Marlins 10-game mini plan on sale now. 10-game plans start as low as $240 and include tickets to some of the season's biggest games. Quantities limited. Secure your 10-game plan today. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Murphy with a key hit back in the 4th. With 1 out, bags loaded. Kohler looking for a ground ball to get out of the inning. Murphy yanked one into right field between Morse and D. Gordon. Daniel
Murphy, the Atlantic Sun Conference Player of the Year when he was at Jacksonville University, 2006. He had a brother that went there too.
On the ground, Morse backhands out there. Echeverria out there. Nice turn. 3-6-3 on the double play.
It's always nice to see that 3-6-3. It starts, you got to make sure you make a good throw to that shortstop. Michael Morse did. Didn't rush it. There's the good throw. And then it's easy for the return, and Morse gets back to get the return.
Here is Lagares, who has hit in 7 straight. One of the impressive things of watching the Mets in these 4 games is that they're getting contributions from guys up and down the lineup, whether it's Wilmer Flores
or Ruben Tejada, such as today.
Travis d'Arnaud, Juan Lagares. Of course, Kadyr's hot. Duda's hot.
And you give those guys, Kadyr, 36 years old. Terry Collins said he'd probably get one of these games off. He knew it'd be today. And you give those guys a day off, you have confidence that the other guys are going to help you out as well.
Average at home.
And there's a guy who's done some damage too, Wilmer Flores.
Lagares to center. Ozuna makes the catch. Brad Hand gets through the 5th. 7-1 Mets. Five for 5. Tied his career high. He did it against the Marlins of all people last year. And he tied the club record for hits in a game 15 times by 13 different Miami Marlins. The Marlins had a 1-0 lead against Matt Harvey. And then Tom Kohler couldn't get anybody out in the 4th. And then scored 7 times. And Harvey, from that point forward, has retired 9 straight. And he pumps in a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, in the young career, too, of Matt Harvey, when given a lead of 5 runs or more, he's 7-0.
into center field. D. Gordon just keeps on hitting. Third in the National League in hitting when the day started. He's 1 for 3.
It came in at an even 400. How about Adrian Gonzalez of the Dodgers at 523? Just solid swings by D. And then a surprise, DJ LeMahieu, the Rockies, second in the number.
Christian Yelich 0 for 2. All right, if you were a baseball physician and you could write a prescription for the Marlins to
more cowbell,
right the ship, aside from calling cowgill, what would you write?
Oh, man, sometimes it's just clearing your head. Just clear all the clutter out, all the things you've thought about, all the things you've done in the cage. Maybe forget about the cage one day. Just take your regular BP on the field. Forget about all the video. Just kind of go back to basics, and you hear guys talk about that a lot.
We've seen Stanton in particular a couple of occasions in his career when he's in a funk. Will not take batting practice on the field. He'll just go into the cage and take pitches off a pitching machine, and for whatever reason it seems to pull him out of it.
Everybody has, and it's still a young career for Christian Yelich, everybody has something that they can go to. See, now he's seeing off-speed stuff from Harvey, who may go back with the count 2-2, may go upstairs with that fastball.
There's a fastball. Yelich is late again at 97. After Yelich, who struck out 4 times last night, he has punched out twice here. Stay social with the Marlins. Follow at Fox Marlins on Twitter and Instagram for exclusive behind-the-scenes Marlins coverage straight from your favorite Fox Sports Florida broadcast.
And then sometimes, Rich, you hope that Jerome Williams is the answer. That's who the Marlins face Tuesday night in Philadelphia.
Stanton pulls it foul. Stan has struck out twice, and Harvey has had little difficulty with the Marlins slugger.
Yeah, in their matchups and over their careers, they'll have a lot of them. So far, Giancarlo 0 for 8 against Harvey.
With 4 strikeouts. And now Stanton seeing off speed. It's 0-2. That one high and out of the glove of Darno. Gordon takes second on a wild pitch.
It's a wild pitch.
Stanton into center field. That's a base hit. Gordon around third is going to score. And for Giancarlo, it has to feel good. After struggling his first 2 at bats, Stanton whacks one into center. 2 hits in the inning for Miami. 7-2.
You know, sometimes you have to win little skirmishes before you win the big war. So it's just little battles. Good one there by Giancarlo. Got started with D. Gordon's base hit.
Here now is Prado. Prado singled back in the second and scored a run on a Realmuto fielder's choice. The Mets have 7 runs on 6 hits. Miami has 5 hits, but just 2 runs. Broken bat roller to short. Tejada backhands and gets the out at second.
A good decision by Daniel Murphy at second base. Second baseman has to realize on that play, because of where it was hit, he's not going to get a double play. So Murphy kind of stretched out like a first baseman just to make sure he got the first out. The second out of the inning, but got the out there.
Here's Morse now. Was bounced out, flied out. The only team in baseball with a better record than the Mets, the Detroit Tigers, who are waxing the White Sox 7-0 in the bottom of the 5th.
Thanks in part to a 3-run homer and a 2-run home run from Yoenis Cespedes.
The Tigers, as Tommy was describing those home runs, just added another run. And it's now 8-0.
Of course, the White Sox waxed the Tigers yesterday.
Phillies and Nationals are scoreless in D.C. halfway through that game. Morse busts his bat. Tejada gets the out. Miami gets a run, but that's it. Matt Harvey and the Mets. The Dark Knight of Gotham.
And now we're at the Jackie Robinson Rotunda. You can see his number 42 behind me, which was, of course, retired back in 1997. This place also ties in the color scheme of the Mets, borrowing the orange from the New York Giants and the blue from the Brooklyn Dodgers. There's also a ton of really cool pictures and memorabilia here commemorating one of the most historical events in Major League Baseball, which was the integration of the game.
Yeah, the Robinson Rotunda. Normally we see the guy in green from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But Met fans are busting out all over the place. Out to center. And Ozuna made the catch. The Dark Knight that we saw going to break. The guy with the Met blue Batman get up with the cape and the, what do they call it, a cowl?
Cowl, yeah.
We've seen a lot of that here with Harvey pitching.
Think he knew Harvey was starting today?
No, he'll be eating dinner with that outfit on tonight. I think that's.
We'll see him down at Times Square later.
That's right. Him and Pikachu. That one misses outside. To Ruben Tejada.
I think he'll be having dinner with the naked cowboy.
It's all right. That's enough. A bad visual. Brad Hand, second inning. And facing Ruben Tejada. Big hit by Tejada. 3-run double. And it's 2-1. Milwaukee Brewers are losing to Pittsburgh 3-2. The Brewers are having a similar start to Miami's. They are 2-9. The Marlins at 3-9. Full count.
Yeah, you talked about one of their starters last night, Kyle Loesch, off to a horrendous start.
Matt Garza pitching in that ballgame today. Is he already a little over 5? And not surprising, we talked about the Marlins team ERA 4.89, and going north of that with what's happened today. Last in the National League. Next to last, no surprise, Milwaukee. One hot, Prado has it. Flips it across. We would like to wish a very happy birthday to Marlins Director of Team Travel, Manny Colon, who celebrates his 29th birthday yet again. My partner has a birthday tomorrow. I can't believe your birthday is on an off day.
Off day. It will be enjoyed. It will be a lot of birthdays this month for the Marlins. Henderson Alvarez a couple of days ago. Yes. Marlins video coordinator Cullen McRae celebrated a birthday earlier this month.
Yeah, but even Andy Echeverria, who celebrated his 26th birthday in Atlanta, did not get a standing ovation inside the broadcast booth here in New York from our crew.
Very respective crew here in New York.
I don't know about respective or respected, but they're a fun bunch. And they're very good at what they do.
Yeah, we always enjoy coming here.
There they are, everybody. Smile and wave. Matt Harvey rifles one to left. Yelich picks it up. Harvey will stop at first. He can pitch, he can hit. Harvey has a 2-out single.
He's had some good swings today. He lined out to center field back in that 4th inning.
Here's Curtis Granderson.
It's actually, Rich, always a request I have. The MLB offices, when they're putting together the schedule for the National League, and they're putting together that April schedule, it's always nice to say, you know, if the Marlins are off on April 20th, I'll go for that.
This is your 51st year in professional baseball. So if you do the math at home, you signed when you were 18.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. Here's the 0-2.
Yeah, the old cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. And to Granderson. And it's down low. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The final line on Tom Kohler: 3 1/3, 5 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Sam Dyson went 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit. He had a walk and a strikeout, and trying to complete his 2nd inning. Jacob deGrom didn't give up a run last night, didn't walk anybody either. Harvey has given up 2 runs. Granderson swings and misses and strikes out. On a bright day, the Dark Knight is shining on the mound and at the plate, and the Mets lead it 7-2.
You got to get a shake from the Shake Shack. You can choose from 3 different flavors: vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. But let me give you one piece of advice. Make sure you get in line early. If you don't, it could take you a couple of innings to get to the front of the line. But Rich, Tommy, I'm feeling generous today. I am going to brave this line, and I am going to bring you shakes from the Shake Shack.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, that's nice.
This on a dark night in New York for the Marlins.
Now, you went out there.
It's a bright light at the end of the day. I did. I had
a little
lunch
before the lines started to form.
I was able to get a burger at Shake Shack to start the day. So a shake to finish the day. And we can, if we don't finish it, we can pack it on our way to Philadelphia. Ozuna, fastball strike. And it's 1-1. As tough as this is for Marlin fans to watch, Marlins trailing here 7-2. I guess one thing they can take from it is watching a guy like Harvey, who had Tommy John surgery and has come back just as good as he was when he left. And the hope for the Marlins is that in mid to late June, they get Jose Fernandez back the same way the Mets have Matt Harvey back.
Well, this is really interesting through their first 36 starts. Look at the comparisons, and they really lean toward Jose Fernandez and what he was able to do through his first 36 starts. He didn't do it in the Big Apple. Thanks to our good pal Glenn Geffner over on Marlins Radio, helped with that graphic. But it shows, yes, there's been so much focused on Matt Harvey because he came back at the beginning of the year. But the numbers show you that Jose Fernandez, through the first 36 starts, was better in most categories.
JT Realmuto bangs it into right field. Granderson picks it up. I think part of the bright light shining on Harvey, his numbers have been superb. Even Jose's numbers, you take both of them in their young careers. But I think the resurgence of the Mets has turned the brightness up even higher on Harvey.
Totally agree.
The Mets down for a while, much like the Marlins. The Mets last year at 79 and 83. The last winning season for the Mets was 2008. And so they've got an ace in Harvey. He starts the year. That's a big deal. And then the Mets get out of the chutes at 9-3. If they win this game, they're 10-3. That's an even bigger deal.
Well, think about the Mets. If you say, okay, Harvey's your A pitcher, your B pitcher is really an A- pitcher in Jacob deGrom, last year's Rookie of the Year.
And your number 3 is Bartolo Colon. And this is a rotation that is without Zach Wheeler as well, who's underwent Tommy John. He's undergoing rehab right now.
It would have been a solid number 2 or 3 pitcher.
Echeverria lines it into right field. That's a base hit. Ozuna around third, and he's on his way home. Realmuto gets to third, and the Marlins are getting to Harvey here. It's now 7-3, and there's nobody out.
I honestly think when you look at his performance today, Matt Harvey, he'll probably say he didn't have his best of stuff. His fastball's getting their velocity, but he's missed with location. We've seen some sliders, but not consistent, nasty sliders that he has on a regular basis.
3 straight hits, and the Dark Knight heads to the Batcave. A West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. 7-3 Mets on top of the Marlins. Marlins and Nationals dress up. Purchase the Mardi Gras night package for just $25 at Marlins.com. Special events, and you get a game ticket, a giveaway, and enjoy all the Mardi Gras festivities. Marlins.com/special events. And there's a fireworks show after the ball game. Matt Harvey in the dugout, Ichiro in the box, and Jerry Blevins, who looked sharp the other night, out of the Mets bullpen, acquired from the Nationals at the tail end of spring training. Marlins trying to squeeze a few more runs out of this inning. They've chased Harvey.
Well, remember, they did some damage in the 9th inning with that Mets bullpen in the ball game last night. Marlins scoring 3 times on 4 hits before Alex Torres was able to nail it down.
Little broken bat, and it's caught. Realmuto safe. JT Realmuto was thinking about scoring, and then Lucas Duda came streaking in to catch it.
That's a tough play for a runner at third. Obviously, line drives, fly balls, you tag up, but this is a little looper. But the athletic ability certainly helped Realmuto get back to third. And he did get back.
D. Gordon now. Gordon 1 for 3. 3 consecutive hits chasing Harvey. Blevins has the first out of the inning. Gordon takes a strike. Off of Blevins, who will pick it up, scoop it, and just get the out. And since the ball was in the air and it hit him, Realmuto didn't really have a chance to head to the plate. Blevins looks like he's stinging a bit from that line drive.
Boy, another solid swing by D. Gordon. That ball had center field written all over it until it was stopped by Blevins. He got a piece of it somewhere. Not sure if it's on the wrist or forearm.
It sounded like it hit something solid.
You know that Terry Collins would like him to stay in at least to try to get through the inning and face the lefty Christian Yelich.
He's going to the bullpen. He's calling for a lefty.
Might have gotten him on the wrist or hand on that throwing hand.
And let's see who comes out of that bullpen. I did not see a lefty up. Yeah, it's certainly not a lefty. And Terry Collins is motioning to his dugout. I want a lefty. Now,
And the righty, Buddy Carlisle's coming out of the bullpen.
Right.
Now he's making a U-turn.
but this is an injury, and so
if this were not an injury situation,
yes,
Carlisle would have to come in and pitch.
You are right, but since it's an injury, I think Alex Torres is probably the guy he wants in. The Mets bullpen are a little bit confused, so this is going to take a while to replace Blevins, and you can see he's pointing at his forearm, lower forearm, wrist area as to where that ball hit him. Alex Torres last night actually picked up his first major league save with that new protective cap. He's coming in now. that would be Shake Shack out in center field. Very popular spot. Even about an hour and a half before game time started, Hut, Shake Shack, the lines were enormous.
Turn around, Rich. Look. Jess, thank you.
Yes, well, the Marlins.
Chocolate.
Very nice, Jess.
Thank you. I do what I can.
How were the lines out there?
The lines were intense. They were not kidding about having to wait a few innings, but I figured as the rookie, suck it up, do what I can to make this broadcast better. And I feel like bringing you guys shakes from the Shake Shack makes our broadcast better.
Well, we appreciate you bringing us a little joy. We haven't had a lot of joy in this 4-game series.
Now, those shakes are going to taste real good.
How many Batman outfits have you seen in the crowd today? We've seen quite a few on camera. You've walked through the concourses and been downstairs. What have you seen?
I have seen many Batman outfits. I was actually kind of glad that I didn't wear mine, because that would have been embarrassing to go with the Batman outfit for on camera and then run into so many people wearing the exact same thing. So obviously a lot of excitement around Matt Harvey and what he's been able to do today. And you can see that as you're walking through Citi Field.
It's your first visit here to Citi Field. What do you think?
It's an incredible atmosphere. I mean, you think about last night, you think about what you've seen today, the way that the fans respond to this team. It's a beautiful day here for baseball. It's a very beautiful park, so I'm having a good time. I just want to see a little bit of a different outcome for this Marlins team, obviously.
All right, thank you for the milkshakes.
You guys enjoy.
All right.
Thanks, Jess.
Jessica Blaylock. Alex Torres, who last night, for the first time, became the first major leaguer to wear the new MLB-approved padded pitcher's cap. And last year, he wore a different, as Tommy pointed out last night, he wore a different version. This one has the padding on the outside.
This looks like it's separate from his actual cap. It looks like it straps around and has Velcro on the back.
It is. It's
the other one he wore last year was a full cap.
And the other one last year was a little heavier. This is lighter.
But he also wore it and picked up his first major league save, and he did so in striking out Christian Yelich, who he faces here.
Here is Christian Yelich. You're right. Yelich striking out in the 9th inning. In this one, he's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. It's Velcroed in the back. It Velcros, and a lot of the weight rests on the bill of his actual cap. He was a Tampa Bay Ray, and he saw Alex Cobb get hit with the line drive. That scary moment down in St. Pete. And so last year, he was one of the first to put on that padded cap, which actually looked bigger than this one. Now, there are other companies that are experimenting with other models, but this is the first one that Major League Baseball has approved.
And as far as we know, Alex Torres, the first major leaguer to wear this.
Yes. And last night was its debut. He had appeared 3 times without it as a Met this year. 1-1 pitch misses outside. He said of it last night, he said it felt a little weird, first time using that kind of model. He liked last year's a little more, but he feels like the more he wears this one, he'll get a better feeling. Second and third. And Yelich takes a strike. It's 2-2. Mets bullpen busy. A right-hander down there. And certainly with Stanton on deck. You would expect that for Torres, this is the only guy he's in to face. And if he doesn't get him, he won't stick around to see Stanton. base hit here, and it's a 2-run game. Stanton, a potential tying run on deck. In the dirt, kicks away. Realmuto coming home, and he scores. Good instincts by JT Realmuto. That thing rolled only about 15 feet away from home plate, but he was off and moving because he knew that d'Arnaud couldn't get back to the plate.
You're right about the instincts. You have to make a quick decision. You have to make that decision instantaneously. He did. There's the decision. You commit. And he beats the throw.
Full count now, and Echeverria is at third. So it's 7-4. And Yelich swings and misses and strikes out. Miami gets 2 back, but still trails it 7-4. High-def highlights back in that big 4th inning for New York.
D'Arnaud with a base hit. They put together a lot of singles. Daniel Murphy was able to pick up an RBI. Lagarce stayed back on the ball, drove the ball the other way. If you remember, Tom Kohler seemed to fall behind a lot of the hitters. The bases loaded walk, the big blast was Ruben Tejada. He found the gap in left center and cleared the bases with that 2-base hit.
Tom Kohler, who retired the first 9, could not get out of that inning. Sam Dyson came in, and by then the damage was done. All 7 of the Met runs came in that inning. The Marlins have chipped away a bit, and it's 7-4 right now. 7th inning stretch. The brooms are out. As we told you, the Mets have never swept the Marlins in a 4-game series here in New York, but they certainly are primed to do it. A.J. Ramos becomes pitcher number 4. And the traditional Italian flavored 7th inning stretch here in Flushing.
That would be Cellaluna.
Like it. MLB.com ballpark app. Perfect complement to your visit to Marlins Park. View maps of the ballpark, menus, order food from your seats, and even access and display your game tickets for entry into Marlins Park. Check in with the Ballpark app. Receive special offers and gifts. Get the MLB.com Ballpark app today. So AJ Ramos will try to keep it at 7-4. And fans have certainly enjoyed this series. A sellout last night. Almost 39,000 on Friday night. And I would expect 38-39 in this one.
Yeah, close to 42 last night.
Although one thing that seems a little different here today than, say, last night is it almost looks like there's a lot of people out of their seats milling around. The bridge is filled out there in right field. The standing room areas as well. That hits Travis d'Arnaud as he tried to check his swing. And d'Arnaud is on his way down to first base. Hit that right hand.
A lot of times on a play like that, an umpire goes by sound.
That's not a sound you want to hear.
Especially from Terry Collins. Well, their backup catcher we saw in this series, Anthony Recker.
Record getting loose right now. The Mets lost Jerry Blevins, hit by a D. Gordon line drive in the wrist. And d'Arnaud's coming out of the ballgame. So a pair of Mets have come down. Terry Collins yelling out to the home plate umpire Sean Barber as to what he's going to do with his replacement.
Well, the Marlins know what that's like. It wasn't too long ago that both Don Kelly and Jeff Mathis had to leave games. There's Record coming in to pinch run.
Here's Duda, Bob Kohler, Sam Dyson, Brad Hand. For the Marlins, it's kind of been a bullpen game after Kohler exited in the fourth inning.
You know, the tough part, Rich, if you were to say before the game, Marlins against Matt Harvey would bang out 8 hits and score 4 runs in 6 innings. You'd feel pretty good about that.
You'd take that.
You would take that. And that's what they did. Problem is the Mets banged out 7 runs in the 4th inning.
Down goes Lucas Duda. And he strikes out. Brad Hand went 2 scoreless innings. Campbell now. Michael Kadire is available as a pinch hitter late in this ball game. He gets the game off, at least up until this point. And of course, Wilmer Flores lurks. One of the newly minted Marlin killers. Ramos up and in. Met fans don't like it. Breaking ball low. On the ground, Prado out there. Gordon's turn out there. Bang, bang at first. Nice turn by D. Gordon. Miami turns a double play to the 8th. Mets by 3, 7-4.
The Mets. Now, one thing that you really notice about the architecture of this ballpark is Shea Bridge right behind me. It's a great place for fans to meet, and it's also a perfect representation of New York City. The Big Apple has over 2,000 bridges connecting the 5 boroughs, so it would make perfect sense that there's a bridge located right here in Citi Field.
And there it is. It's a popular spot for standing room tickets or people that are just milling about, want to stop and watch the ball game. Citi Field sold out last night for the 2nd time this year. Another big house here to watch Matt Harvey. And the Mets haven't disappointed. They have a 7-4 lead. Buddy Carlisle out of New York's bullpen now.
Well, the Marlins saw Buddy Carlisle for 2/3 of an inning last night. He was able to pick up a strikeout, got a couple of outs, and one of those strikeouts was facing Giancarlo Stanton, who he sees right here.
Stanton, Prado, Morse, Anthony Recker behind the plate for the departed Travis d'Arnaud. We'll give you an update when we hear it for both d'Arnaud and Blevins. Stanton takes a strike. Giancarlo with an RBI single in the 6th after a rough ride in his first 2 at-bats against Harvey. Smokes that one in the gap, right center field. It's going to scoot to the wall. Stanton around first, on his way to second, and a good sign there. Following up the 2 strikeouts with 2 well-hit balls, this one a double.
He has so much strength and power that even when he stays back and finds that gap to the opposite field, the ball just jumps off his bat. A lot of guys hit that ball and an outfielder is able to cut it off. That one goes to the wall and finds a gap.
Here's Martin Prado. It is 7-4 Mets. Prado a 1-for-3 day. Morse on deck. Carlisle throws a strike. Three pitchers in Major League history were able to record a save 15 years after their major league debut, which Carlisle did against the Nationals. One of those is linked to the Marlins. Jamie Wright, Frank Tanana, and Livan Hernandez.
That's a good stat. That's a good one.
Pitch misses out.
Yeah, oddly enough, last night in the Marlins 5-4 loss, they out-hit the Mets 11-10. And they've out-hit the Mets today 9-7. It was that one big inning. And you know what? There's still time left.
Stanton waiting at second. And either Carlisle's taking too long or Prado's not set. And they try it again. It's down low. The count's 2-2. Harvey struck out 7 and didn't walk anybody. 8 runs, 4 hits off of him. That pitch is out and the count is full. Jerry Blevins and Alex Torres cleaned up and finished off the 7th. Here in the 8th, though, Buddy Carlisle in. Stanton has a double. Prado's run the count full. And Carlisle calls his catcher out. The wrecker will trot out. Prado, a sharp ground ball in the hole. It's short. Tejada has it. A jump throw. They're not going to get Prado. Stanton still at second. Prado hustling down the line. That would have been a highlight film play had he been able to get him. Nice effort.
Well, and the smart play, too, by Giancarlo to hold his ground. If he takes off for third, Tejada goes to third to try to get an out. So the Marlins get things started here. Back-to-back base hits. And just like that, the tying run comes to the plate.
And it's Michael Morse, who homered in yesterday's ball game, is 0 for 3 today. Ozuna, who's got 2 hits, is on deck. And then you got Real Muto and Echeverria. They both have hits in the game. So things getting a little interesting here in New York. One and one. Woo. That's one of the later appeals down to first.
Yeah, usually that process happens a little quicker.
Yeah, I don't think Recker asked immediately. I think the bench asked Recker to ask. The bench can't ask for an appeal. The catcher has to. Morse busts his bat and lines it to center field. That's a hit. Stanton at third is stopped. The throw is wide of the plate. And the bags are loaded.
Was really looking for Giancarlo to score. Looked like he got a pretty good jump, but with the score 7-4 and nobody out.
Here's Ozuna now. It looked like Stanton, and as he was approaching third, actually turned.
It looked like he made up the decision as opposed to letting Brett Butler make that decision.
Right, and Butler immediately went over to Stanton and had a chat with him once the play ended. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was, hey, I'll be your eyes, just watch me and go hard. But the bags are loaded. Time runs now at first, and Marcell Ozuna is up.
Buddy Carlisle's come into the game and has not gotten out.
Mets bullpen is a beehive, and it's active.
The luxury that Terry Collins has, because two of his left-handers have already appeared in the game, but he has a third left-hander in his bullpen.
Saw Sean Gilmartin. Mets infield will give up a run for a shot at 2. Marlins need 3. Ozuna to right field. It's pretty well hit. Granderson back, makes the catch. Everybody tags. Scoring is Stanton. Prado to third. Morse holds first. It's 7-5. And Ozuna delivers.
Boy, that was a nice approach. Good swing, hit it well. And the good part about that is he did pick up the run, and also moving to third was Prado. He went from second to third on that fly ball too.
Now JT Realmuto is 1 for 3 with an RBI. Prado and Morse waiting out there. Echeverria's on deck. Realmuto left center field, well hit. Neuenhuis and Lagares. It's Lagares who makes the catch. Morse tags at first and holds. Prado scores, and Miami is within a run here in New York. A pair of sacrifice flies. First Ozuna, then Realmuto.
Well, we talk about those little things, and it's creeping the ball club closer in this game. But the 3 base hits and then 2 sac flies in good approaches, good ABs by both Ozuna and Realmuto.
Echeverria on a 1 for 3 day.
You know, you hear this a lot. Some people get tired of it, but you know, when the Mets scored 7 in the 4th inning, they had Matt Harvey out there. It'd been very easily to roll over. Marlins started pecking away. 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 2 so far here in the 8th.
Echeverria trying to bunt, and he fouls it back. He had Eric Campbell, the Mets third baseman, extremely deep at third. Reed Brignac on deck. Three hits and 2 sacrifice flies off of Buddy Carlisle. Two and 1. Morse not a threat to run at first.
today, Terry Collins has his closer available, Juris Familia, who was not available last night.
2-2 to Echeverria. 2 runs in the 8th. A 1-run game now. Got a piece and fouls it back. Wants timeout. Carlisle misses. Count is full, and this is going to give Morse.
Yeah, this helps.
A head start at first.
This helps Michael Morse if Echeverria is able to find a gap.
Outfield playing Echeverria to right center.
Yeah, big gap in left center because of the way they're aligned.
Three-two. Got him. Echeverria strikes out. Miami gets 2 and gets within a run. It's 7-6 Mets. To the game, Marlins Live, presented by Checkers. Craig Minervini, Preston Wilson. Matt Harvey is in line for the win, but the Marlins are threatening. 2 runs in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. Now AJ Ramos goes to work on the Mets in the bottom of the 8th and tries to hold it at 1. Daniel Murphy, Juan Lagares, and Kurt Neuenhuis. Gordon gets the out. Murphy out number 1. Ramos in his 2nd inning in relief. This was a Tom Kohler start, and for 3 innings it went quite well. Kohler retired the first 9 he faced, but in the 4th he had trouble getting out, and the Mets chased him and got 7 runs in the inning. Travis d'Arnaud, a fractured right hand.
Wow. That is not good news for Mets fans.
He was off to a really nice start. Four-1, 2-3-4. Jury's Familia in the Mets bullpen. We've not heard anything on Jerry Blevins yet, but the initial word for d'Arnaud is a fractured right hand.
Well, the Marlins bullpen today: Dyson, Hand, Ramos, Webb skipped by Prado.
Yelich into the corner to pick it up, and Juan Lagares has got himself a double.
That's just the third hit allowed by the Marlins bullpen. This is a do-or-die play, and at time, the ball just kind of stayed down. Prado came up with it. He wasn't able to make the pick.
Also receiving word on Jerry Blevins. He has a fractured left forearm. So the Mets experiencing what the Marlins experienced last week when they lost Don Kelly and Jeff Mathis in the span of about 15 minutes, both the fractured fingers. Blevins hit by a line drive, and d'Arnaud hit by a pitch. And the initial word, fractures on both. Left forearm, and that's the throwing arm for Blevins. Right hand of d'Arnaud. 2-0 pitch. A strike, Kirk Neuenhuis. Change up, and Ramos gets a strike.
It's good to see.
2-2.
I think before we left on this trip, I'm not sure, on Marlins Live, Jeff Conine had a nice piece on pitching backwards, and A.J. Ramos is able to do that. There's a familiar face.
Chris Christie.
Governor Christie.
Amazing it's not a Cowboys game. And a swing and a miss. What is pitching backwards?
Well, it's backwards. A lot of times, if a pitcher has that good fastball, you're going to see the fastball in 2-0 counts, 3-1 counts. But AJ has command. When he does have command of the changeup and the curveball, he'll throw those pitches in fastball counts when a hitter's looking for the fastball. So it's kind of backwards. But if you guess that stuff and he throws the fastball, he's going to throw that by you too.
Here's Ruben Tejada now. Both bullpens are working. Mets have a runner in scoring position. Trying to add an insurance run here in the bottom of the 8th. A.J. Ramos with a breaking ball for a strike. Michael Kadire on deck. This is Ruben Tejada. Boy, Mets shortstops have hammered the Marlins in this series. Wilmer Flores with a homer. Fastball misses down low, and some big RBIs. Tejada with a 3-run double in this ball game.
Probably the biggest hit for the Mets in this one.
Actually, Flores with a pair of home runs. Homer last night, and he homered first game of the series. 5 RBIs from Flores. 3 RBIs from Tejada.
And you know that A.J. Ramos wants to go after Tejada and not have to face Kadire, who's on deck.
Two and one. Center field, Ozuna there, and he makes the catch. To the 9th, the Mets Mets are still up, but only by a run. It's 7-6. Florida Honda dealers and by Kubota. For more information, find participating dealers. Go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. Juris Familia out of the Mets bullpen in a one-run game in the 9th inning in front of 41,000 plus. And Grand Eye Vision Cam brings you Familia's first 2 saves of the series.
Well, the first game of the series, he picked up save number 4. In game 2 of this series, it was Juris Familia again, picking up his 5th save. 5 saves, as a matter of fact, ties him for the National League lead with Jason Grilli. He got last night off, and here he is again, Juris Familia.
Keep your eye on the ball. RandEye.com/LASIK. There is Familia. 8th appearance. 5 of 5. He'll face 9-1-2 in Miami's order. Reed Brignac will pinch hit. And that big crowd coming to life here in New York. Brignac takes up.
Brignac has not had a lot of opportunities, but a couple of ABs, he's hit the ball pretty well into the opposite field, into left field.
Two and 0. Familia wants a new baseball, and he gets it.
A little brisk, a little cool this afternoon. Sometimes tough to get the kind of grip that a pitcher likes.
Temperatures have been in the 50s throughout the day. Miami looking for a base runner. Familia trying to throw a strike. And there's the strike.
Got a high strike call. That's borderline up in that area. You can see Brignac kind of shaking his head.
Just at the top of the zone.
Like I said, borderline.
That one's in, and it's a leadoff walk here in the 9th inning.
Nice nice patient job by Brignac.
Now D. Gordon. Campbell shortens up at third. You can see him guarding against a bunt. Gordon does bunt it, and he bunts it foul. This is that spot that we talked to Brett Butler about with Gordon. He's a terrific bunter when he's on the move. When he's stationary, not so much. And Butler even said he was awful trying to bunt and not move. And even in a sacrifice spot, he wants Gordon and has encouraged him to move just a little bit. Drops it down. It's a good one. Campbell picks it up, fires, and they get the Outlet to at first. So the Marlins push Brignac to second. He's the tying run. Here comes Yelich with Stanton behind him.
A lot of times on the road, you don't play it this way. But I think because of the ingredients at the time with D. Gordon, the hitter, you go ahead, play, try to tie this game, and then play from there. Just see what happens. But a lot of times on the road, you don't want to play to tie because you don't get that last AB.
And you have a young hitter who is struggling mightily right now in Christian Yelich.
Well, what a boost, what a pick-me-up it would be, not only for the ball club, but for Christian Yelich for a base hit here.
0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in this one. 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts last night. Ryan Morris, Steve Cishek. In the dirt. The ball and a strike. Anthony Recker, who replaced Travis d'Arnaud. And it's 1-1.
In the 4-1 win, the second game of the series, Recker was back there with Familia on the mound. He caught that there.
1-1, little tapper, left side, cut off by Campbell, and his throw is in time to get Yelich. And so it's down to Juris Familia against Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton struck out twice to begin the game, but has 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats. Both well hit. A line drive single, an RBI in the 6th, and a double in the 8th. Crowd on their feet. Stanton against the Mets closer, Juris Familia. One and 0.
Started him with a good slider.
Kind of an excuse me swing at the fastball. It's 1-1.
Yeah, it's a fastball that really had some movement. Stanton started, then realized it was out of the zone and couldn't hold back. We've seen a few of those from Giancarlo this year. We've seen him chase that inside off the plate fastball a few times.
Brignac the tying run at second. 1-1 pitch to Stanton.
nasty slider again.
Ground ball. Campbell has it. Across the diamond. And the Mets sweep Miami. For the first time in New York, the Mets sweep the Marlins in a 4-game series. And the good times continue in Gotham. 8 straight wins. A 10-3 start. The best record in the National League. Mets win it 7-6. Marlins live next.